I believe that if you guys ever have a birthday party, just have a birthday party indoors.
These animals walked in and shot children at a children's birthday party. And none of us should stand for that.
God. Oh my. Oh my God.
It was supposed to be a 2-year-old girl's birthday party. Well, that was until some gunmen bursted in and began firing. By the time the shooting stopped, 3 children were dead, and the man everybody was gunning for was already gone, hiding, fearing for his life. And the reason they came for him will completely bewilder you. On the evening of November 29th, 2025, somewhere between 100 and 150 people pulled up to the Monkey Space Banquet Hall on Lucille Avenue in an unincorporated part of San Joaquin County, just outside Stockton, California. Families and friends came out to watch a little girl turn 2 years old and eat some birthday cake.
I threw a birthday party for my little daughter. She actually turned 2, and I just wanted all my family to come together, and everybody's getting together around and just start cutting the cake, and all we heard was gunshots, and everybody just fell to the ground. It was just unexpected. I actually thought it was my balloons popping. It was gunshots. So shocked and lost, and I'm lost of words. I'm speechless, and I just want to say I'm sorry to all the mothers out there that lost their kids at my birthday party.
That right there is the mother who threw the party, and that detail alone tells you everything about how normal that room felt in the seconds before everything changed. Multiple masked gunmen wearing dark clothes rushed into that hall and started shooting. More than 50 rounds were fired inside the venue before the shooting moved outside into the parking lot, and stray bullets went through the wall of a house nearby, barely missing the person inside. 4 people were killed that night. 8-year-old Maya Lupian, a 3rd grader who people who knew her said was always the most outgoing person in the room and had just earned her purple belt in karate. 8-year-old Journey Rose Rio Tudor Guerrero, who wanted to grow up to be both a cheerleader and a doctor. 14-year-old Amari Peterson from Modesto, a straight-A student and basketball player who his teammates called Ferrari Mari because of how fast he moved on the court. And 21-year-old Susano Archuleta, who, according to his family, had moved his girlfriend and his children to safety before he got hit in the neck. 13 other people were wounded. This shooting was not random in the slightest. Investigators, witnesses, and the father of 14-year-old Amari Peterson all confirmed the same thing. The gunmen were not just spraying into a crowd. They walked in there looking for one specific person, a rapper who had been in the wrong beef with the wrong people for a very long time. His name is Janelle Dongon, a 28-year-old Filipino-American raised in Stockton. He's known to the rap world as MBNL and has millions of streams. He has songs with Mozzie, Blueface, and Stupid Young. He's literally the biggest rapper to come out of Stockton in years, and that night he was at that party just to drop off a birthday gift. But somebody had followed him there. Amari Peterson's father, Patrick, was at the party too, and he saw exactly what happened. He told reporters that one of the masked gunmen looked like he was aiming directly at MBNL while his son, Amari, was standing close by, walking over toward the rapper. Amari took 1 bullet to the chest. Patrick got down on the floor of that birthday party and did CPR on his own son while the gunfire was still going. Amari did not make it.
Every day he would tell me, "Dad, I love you. Dad, I appreciate you." Every night, every morning. Every night, every morning, that boy would tell me he loved me.
Patrick Peterson lost his child because his child happens to be standing next to the wrong person at the wrong moment. To understand how a beef got this out of hand, you have to understand where MBNL came from and what kind of city Stockton really is, because most people do not know Stockton unless they have a reason to.
Growing up in Stockton, it's like any other place with ghetto violence, poverty, but If you ain't know, Stockton was on the Forbes list for being one of the most dangerous cities in America, like top 10 or something like that.
That is MBNL in his own words, and he's not stretching the truth. Stockton has more than 100 documented gangs and somewhere between 2,700 and 5,000 members, depending on which official you ask. The city went bankrupt in 2012, and its violent crime numbers run double the California average. It's the kind of city where young people end up in street life, not always because they chose it, but because it was all around them and there was nothing else in front of them. MBNL grew up in South Stockton on 8th Street, in a neighborhood where his older cousins and uncles were already running with a SIP-affiliated set.
I grew up in South Stockton, Southwest to be exact, but I say South Stockton, 8th Street. And my cousins and older uncles and all that, they was banging a Crip gang with like Filipinos in the area. And then there's like, and we kind of really, it wasn't us being in their gang. We kind of just was in the hood with them.
He wasn't formally put into a set the way people imagine it happening. He and his friends were just young kids in a certain neighborhood, surrounded by people who moved a certain way, and over time they started moving that way too. That's how it usually goes. Not a big ceremony or a big decision, just the slow pull of your environment until one day you look around and realize where you are. He formed his own crew called the Muddy Boys, a name taken from the area's old nickname Mudville, and from the idea of brotherhood built in the struggle together. Multi-ethnic from the start, Black and Filipino and whoever else was from that part of South Stockton. By the time he was 14 years old, he had already been shot at for the first time.
Like 14.
Okay.
I got shot at first when I was like 14, 15.
Okay, so you're 14 years old and you get shot at.
Yeah, but it wasn't meant directly for me. It was my partner. I was just there. That was my first real incident.
By 15, he was carrying, and by 16, he had bought his first gun with his own money. The rap career came later, almost by accident, when he began recording on his mother's laptop with a rock band microphone in the garage at 2 in the morning while his boys shot dice. His first music video cost him $600, and the song did 20,000 views in the first week, then climbed to 2 million. He kept going. His track In My City eventually hit 8 million views with no advertising behind it at all, just people sharing it. And as the music got bigger, the beef got bigger too. Before that birthday party shooting, before the bodies and hiding, MBNL had already survived at least 2 serious attempts on his life. The most well-known one happened in 2020 right outside his mother's house.
After a show, I don't remember. It was after, I think I had a show. And I came back from the show. At like 4 a.m. to my mama's crib. I'm pulling in. And I always be on tip when I'm, you feel me? Cause all the shit that's going on. So I see a van pulling. I flip it. So I'm not facing on the street. I flip it and park it so that way my back of the car is facing it. Cause I already seen it coming. Like I had a gut in my feeling already. The van stopped. And then he just started clapping at the car. I'm inside the car. And all the nigga could do is just duck, so I'm ducking. And then dude shoot 22 times. They all hit the car against me one time.
The man behind that attack was eventually found to be T.C. Lowe, whose real name is Lawrence Carolino, a former friend who had turned against MBNL. He was arrested, convicted, and sentenced to 15 years for multiple counts of attempted murder. That situation alone shows you the level of hatred that has been pointed at this man over the years, but it didn't stop with T.C. Lowe, and it didn't end there either. To understand the full picture of what happened at that birthday party in 2025, you have to understand a group called EBK, which stands for Everybody Killers. EBK was founded around 2015 to 2016 in the southeast side of Stockton in an area called Nightingale, and it grew into one of the most active street organizations in the city. In a single 2022 operation, law enforcement arrested 90 people and seized 58 guns just from targeting EBK and its connected sets. The most recognized name out of EBK's rap side is EBK Jabo, one of the most respected street rappers to come out of Northern California in years. His story is genuinely heavy. His father was murdered in a robbery in 2015, and that loss shaped everything about how he carries himself and how he makes music. Now, here's the part that makes this whole thing more complicated than most people realize. Before this beef turned deadly, some of these guys were actually making music together. Tracks like Blue Strips by Cash Fed featuring MBNL, EBK Young Jock, and Young Slowbee show both sides on the same song in 2020, working together with no visible issue. Another track called Starting Lineup features Keep It Peasy, Young Slowbee, EBK Young Jock, and MBNL all rapping together on the same record with the same energy. And then the streets shifted the way they always do. A Flyboys member named Jay Jonah got shot and killed, and EBK J-Bo responded with a song called Casualty, where the lines were not subtle at all. That record is basically where the open war between the Southside Sipsets and EBK became impossible to ignore in the music. Then came Young Slowbee. Young Slowbee, real name Dasan Chakwe Victor, was a rising Stockton rapper who was getting real attention. He was affiliated with EBK, came from the Southeast Side, and had a sound that was traveling well beyond Stockton. On August 5, 2022, he was ambushed and shot dead in a city called Manteca. The case has never been solved, and police have been looking for a black Mercedes connected to that shooting for years now. After his death, MBNL dropped a diss. An unreleased version of a track called Spin started going around online, and in it, MBNL goes directly at Slowbee, at EBK Young Jock, and at TC Low, and at others, mocking a man who had just been buried. He called him Young Slowfeet, talking about violence. EBK fired back with J-Bo and others putting out their own disses, and the cycle kept spinning. In 2020, MBNL had also been caught up in a big operation called Kryptonite, a multi-agency gang sweep that led to 34 arrests and went after the Muddy Boys, Crips, Asian Boys, and their connected sets. He was arrested on drug charges and a false compartment charge. He eventually got through it, but the pressure never fully went away. By the time 2025 rolled around, MBNL had actually already left Stockton. His father confirmed he'd moved out of the city 2 years earlier because of the constant threats on his life. He had a place somewhere outside Sacramento, trying to put some distance between himself and everything that came with being from where he was. But distance is not always enough. The birthday party that November night was for the daughter of a rapper known as Nano. His real name is Luciano Guerrero, but he also raps under the name Flyboy Doey or Dougie Threes and is affiliated with the Flyboys Crips, the same Southside alliance as MBNL. Peril records show Nano is an admitted member of Sereños, Asian Boys, and Muddy Boys at different points in his life. The venue itself wasn't even a real licensed banquet hall. It was a former children's theater being run without proper permits through a company called Vertical Compass LLC, and the county had already received a complaint about it operating without a license just weeks before the shooting. None of that would have mattered if the wrong people had shown up.
Any sense that it was gang involved?
We are pursuing all possibilities at this time.
That's the careful, measured language of law enforcement at a press conference the morning after, and it sits in interesting contrast to what Stockton's mayor said almost immediately.
Stockton is better than this. Whoever did this, if you know them, as the district attorney just said, please call Crime Stoppers. You can leave an anonymous tip. We've got work to do, and this type of violence, again, our city is better than that. 2014, I remember the Madison Market shooting. 7 people were gunned down right across from the school district. Unacceptable. And what happened tonight?
She pointed to the city's roughly 5,000 gang members across 100 different groups and pushed publicly for federal help and for the Department of Justice to make Stockton a pilot site for anti-gang money. San Joaquin County Sheriff Patrick Withrow confirmed the attack was targeted and that known gang members were at the party, but he refused to officially call it gang-related until the evidence actually proved it. saying that jumping to conclusions too early could hurt the investigation. Both of them were right in different ways. What is certain is this: more than 50 rounds were fired from at least 5 different guns, leaving 4 people dead. After the shooting, Stockton did what communities do when something this bad happens.
And we are here to bring you a live coverage of that vigil this afternoon. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Steve Large. Let's go live to that community prayer vigil in Stockton right now. We'll go ahead. We have a camera there. We're going to go ahead and listen in.
He that is in the world. So we come against the trick of the enemy.
About 150 people gathered the following afternoon to pray and to mourn. Pastors, community leaders, regular people who had just had enough. The grief was real and visible, but so was something else sitting underneath it, which was an honest, clear-eyed frustration that this had happened before, people had gathered before, and the cycle had still not stopped.
I'm Pastor Trina Turner, Victory and Praise Church, and I'm taking the mic so that we can take a pause after what was just spoken. Brother Nuri spoke truth to each and every one of us that's standing here today, and we're all familiar with coming to prayer vigils and candlelight vigils, hearing, nodding our heads, lighting our candles, laying a flower, and then going home and doing the same thing that we were doing before we arrived.
As of today, no arrests had been made and the case was still open. The San Joaquin County District Attorney's Office had not even received a case file as of that date. Investigators were still working through ballistics, DNA, and digital evidence. 2 vehicles connected to the attack, a white Honda Accord and a gray Volkswagen, were recovered in early February 2026 and processed for clues. No suspects have been named publicly. The FBI put up a reward of up to $50,000. The ATF added to that. Local contributions brought the total reward to around $130,000 by mid-December 2025, and that money is still on the table. Nano, the birthday girl's father, was arrested on December 1st, just 2 days after the shooting, though not as a direct suspect in the killings. He was picked up for multiple parole violations connected to a prior gang conviction. His GPS ankle monitor showed he was at the venue for more than 5 hours. The charges against him include assault with a firearm, possession of an assault rifle and high-capacity magazines, being a felon in possession of a gun, gang activity, and domestic violence. Prosecutors said publicly that he hosted a party knowing rival gang members would be there. His bail was denied and is still in custody. The venue operator, a man named Willie Collins, said publicly that he was afraid the shooting would start a gang war and that he might never reopen the space, calling it a memorial now. MBNL himself stayed quiet for 3 weeks before posting a statement on December 19, 2025. On Instagram, he wrote, "My deepest condolences to the families who had to bury their children and to the innocent lives lost. What happened in Stockton has left families carrying an unimaginable loss. There are no words that can make sense of this, and I do not want to add noise where there should be care. This is about the families and no one else." He did not address the beef or name anyone. He said he was choosing to move quietly and intentionally and has not spoken publicly about the details since. Here is the part that really sits with you when you think about all of this. MBNL actually spoke about this kind of danger years before it came for him in this way. In a Vlad TV interview, when the conversation turned to the risks that come with the lifestyle, he said something that sounds, looking back now, like a man who already understood exactly what he was in and what it could cost him. He was talking about the danger that comes with being known, the idea that when you build yourself up to a certain level, you also become a target at a certain level, and he had accepted that a long time ago. What he could not have fully prepared for was a 2-year-old girl's birthday party becoming the place where that danger finally found him again, and 3 children losing their lives in the process. What do you think about this case? Do you think MBNL should have never attended the party? Let me know what you think in the comments section. Also, click on one of the cards on your screen to see more videos like this. See you in the next one.